Hi, for those who don't know me, my name's Darren Wood and I'm the National Sales Manager for Semino's Vegetable Seeds in Australia and New Zealand. So before I touch base on the meat industry, I just first wanted to touch base with food safety in Asia. As many of you are aware, there's been a number of food safety scandals across the Asian continent in the last decade or so. None more so than the baby milk powder issue going back to 2004. Back then, 22 farms, dairies, were found to have been adding melamine to their production, which caused great concern, especially in a one-child Chinese nation. When you think that 68% of Chinese believe that Chinese food is either unsafe or very unsafe, it's rather concerning. So, with my background, I worked in the beef industry for around 10 years, a bit more, prior to coming back to veg, which is my true passion. I thought I'd connect that food safety to traceability within the meat industry and then take you back and how that's going to help us with our export. So the beef industry is underpinned by the NLIS, the National Livestock Identification System. That system was brought in after a number of events happened. So in the 1960s, the mad cow disease outbreak took effect, and by 1992, we had the introduction of tail tags and ear tags. It wasn't until 1999 that electronic ear tags became a thing, and they were introduced into all cattle born in Victoria, and there was actually legislation passed that cattle must have an ear tag from birth. A year later, that was rolled out nationally, and from there, NLIS is the system that underpins the beef traceability system in Australia. So as I said, NLIS is the major system, and where it really comes together is through the database that they have. So every time a cow moves from one property to another, when a cow is born, that ear tag is registered through that database. A cow does not end up at an abattoir or overseas as live export unless it's been registered in the NLIS database. That allows Australia to claim full traceability across the beef industry, and it gives us a competitive market advantage in the export segment against other countries that can't claim the same thing. That whole system is underpinned by a bunch of system regulation, and what you'll see is there's a number of different legislations around truck care, how the cattle are transferred from feedlot to feedlot or from property to property, OSME, through to MLA food safety. One of the important things to note about the NLIS program is that it is actually funded through the industry levies collected from each grazier. So every time a cow is ear tagged, that ear tag cost is actually going back to the industry. So why is that all important, and how has it helped the beef industry in Australia? Australia has only about 4% of the international herd, but in 2015, Australia was the actual #1 beef exporter in the world. We couldn't have done that without beef traceability in Australia. So when you look at where we rank here as number 7 on the list of top 10 beef producing countries, we sell more export beef than any other country. So clearly these guys are eating a lot more beef at home, which is something we need to do more of, but we're ruling the world as far as exports. Now if I move on and take this back to how that's going to help us in vegetables. In Japan and Korea, a recent survey has uncovered that the #1 choice or deciding factor on whether a consumer actually purchases a product is its country of origin. Now, if that country of origin is Australia and they know it's clean, green, safe, then that surely will help us drive further veg exports. It also gives us an opportunity to really promote the recently announced Taste Australia campaign from Board Innovation. A couple more things to consider. Traceability can help improve brand reputation. If you can guarantee traceability throughout the supply chain, right through from paddock to plate, consumers will have an increased awareness of your brand, and that brand will attract a higher value. The other thing that we should consider is that demand is growing, and Chinese consumers are concerned about contamination, and they really want traceability. So, food safety is paramount. I think we can all agree on that. The vegetable industry needs a centralised traceability system, and we need that system to be held in compliance through proper system regulation. That traceability system, VegTrace Australia, will build trust in the Taste Australia campaign. And I'll leave you with this. Traceability alone does not contribute to higher levels of safety or quality. It only transfers information along the supply chain. So without further ado, I'll pass on to Kim, who will take us through our solution that is the IT platform.